This is the Padres POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the
San Diego Padres.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Scoreless through 6 in an epic pitcher's duel in Pittsburgh. And then the San Diego Padres exploded. And then the San Diego Padres put the bow on this game, on this win, on this series. Their 13th win in 15 games over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Michael King, his first win of the season. 8-2 the final in Pittsburgh. All the Padres runs scored in the 7th and the 9th innings. Again, scoreless through 6. They did it with offense. They did it with great defense. And they did it with fantastic pitching today. This is your Padres POSTCAST. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Really pumped to have you with me after every Padres game. We come on live. It's free. It's instant. Bang, bang after every single game. And there's a lot to talk about today. And you know, every single day we give you the player of the game, the X factor, who fudged up, second guessing. Of course, we start with what we're talking about and then the turning point. But all these things, right? The San Diego Padres, what matters? The W. 8-2. They're back at 500. It's the POSTCAST. I'm Grease on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 podcast network in the world. They close it out in style in Pittsburgh. Let's go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
What we are talking about, baby. Oh, man, they win a big game today, the Padres, obviously. 8-2. They out-hit Pittsburgh 10-6. 3 Pirates errors. Yeah, oh, man. And Michael King and Mitch Keller going back and forth for 6 innings. We'll give you those numbers, but a nice pitcher's duel. And you look at what Michael King has done so far. You know what I'm saying? Producer's jock. They want to be down with the king, and that's Michael King. And Michael King is a huge part of the Padres season this year. Got the 3-year, $75 million contract in the offseason. Didn't think he was coming back here. No one thought Michael King was coming back here, but here he is after the injury-plagued season a year ago. Pitching really good so far for the Padres. We'll give you his numbers, and we'll tell you about Michael King moving forward. A couple of interesting moments in this game as well, and we'll hit those again later. But just in the recap, Craig Stammen showing some patience with his starter, Michael King. Even more patience in his bullpen with Jeremiah Estrada. And we'll talk about that. Kyle Hart as well before bringing in Mason Miller for the night. The Pittsburgh boy, right, from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Not really Pittsburgh, but I'll tell you, I have my half-brothers from Bethlehem. But I'll tell you this, man. Big win for the Padres. They did it in all phases, and they did it convincingly. Second series in a row they've won. They go to Boston, beat the Red Sox 2 out of 3. They come here, and they beat the Pirates 2 out of 3. And, of course, now quietly they've won 4 out of 5. And, you know, things are moving in the right direction for your San Diego Padres. So all sorts of things going on today, and really a big, big win for the Pods. And that's the #1 thing right here. You know what I mean? And I believe they go home now. Yeah, they go home, don't they? They go home. Yeah, they go home for Colorado. They are at Colorado next week. So anyway, they get back to San Diego for a home 4-game series against the Rockies. All of a sudden, you win 3 of those, maybe 4, against not such a good team. And you know what I mean? You're rolling with the Pods. They don't have the same bullpen they had a year ago. Suarez is gone. Adams out. Matsui's out. Musgrove not coming back yet. Had the setback. Darvish. You know what I mean? Just so many things have just gone against them. Early in the season, they didn't have the huge budget to bring everybody back that they wanted to, and they haven't really gotten anything from their stars yet. They really haven't. Nothing superstar-like anyway. So all kinds of things happening in Padre land. So if you look at it from that standpoint, you feel like 6-6 is all right. And BT Dubs, by the way, for all you old people, see that? No boomer here. I'll tell you this. My kids call me a boomer. So anyway, Javi Reyes does a great job day in and day out with Locked On Padres. I will be joining him on today's episode at the conclusion of this show. It'll be on in a couple hours, and we'll talk about that 6-6 start. It gives me a chance to really dive in. This is a POSTCAST. My job is to tell you what happened in the game, nothing more and nothing less. There will never be anything less on one of my shows. But I will tell you this, though. The Padres going to a place like Pittsburgh and playing a team like the Pirates, they've beaten them 13 out of 15 times. This is not your Pittsburgh Pirates team that they've been beating. This team's much better. Kelly, the new manager, Haig, the new hitting coach, they go pole to pole. They hit the opposite way. The 3 errors were really out of character for this version of the Pirates, but they're looking like they're a lot better. You know, Don and Mudd were saying throughout the game they hadn't seen a Pirates team like this in a while. A small market team, not a lot of money. Used to be the most disgusting stadium in the history of sports. Maybe Vets in Philadelphia or Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. I went there to see the We Are Family Pirates when I was a kid. My dad took me after they won the World Series. But how about Michael King and how about Mitch Keller? Strong through 6 innings. We're not even getting to the turning point yet because the turning point came after these dudes came out of the game. That's how good the starting pitching was. And look at Pivetta and Skeens, you know what I mean? And Randy Vasquez in the opener. I think that this team is – it wasn't Vasquez in the opener. I'm sorry. It was German Marquez. It was his better outing of the season. But, man, it just – when you look at this game and you look at the errors from the Pirates and you look at what happened offensively for the Padres beat this team. They put a lot of pressure on them. They're hitting gap to gap and a little bit of power today, flex too, from Jake Cronenworth, and a lot of leather flashed by Ramon Laureano. But before we get to anything else, I want to tell you about these 2 starting pitchers because this was absolutely unbelievable. And we don't do this, right, in this show. We kind of move around things, but usually there's an order for the benchmarks, but not today because the player of the game left the game before the game was decided.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It's the Locked On pitcher of the game. Honorable mention, obviously, to a couple guys on the Padres. Cronenworth had a home run today. Laureano, 2 hits, 2 beautiful plays in left field. Mason Miller, 1, 2, 3, 9, struck out the first 2. 8 strikeouts in a row, snapped on that last out when he got a pop out. But a lot of candidates for the star of the game. But it's, you know what I'm saying? Reporters clock, producers jock. They want to be down with the king. That's all I'm going to say. Michael King, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 95 pitches, wins his first game of the season. Why is he the player of the game? Because he and his counterpart, Mitch Keller, were the best players on the field today. Keller, 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 4 strikeouts, actually outworked Michael King. But this is a Padres postcast, not the Pirates. So King is the player of the game, and the Padres won. Also should be mentioned, Kyle Hart, scoreless inning of relief. Jeremiah Estrada, scoreless inning of relief. And Mason Miller, scoreless inning of relief. Now, asterisk on Kyle Hart's because he gave up an RBI single, but that run was charged, and a sac fly. Those runs were charged to Michael King. So I think maybe Craig Stammen may have left Michael King in a smidge too long, and we'll talk about that with Javi a little bit later, but sticking with his guy, knowing how much confidence King needs after last year, and plus with Pivetta, man. Pivetta came out earlier last night in a colder game, much colder. So if you're comparing the 86 pitches that Pivetta threw through 5 last night to King today, you can't do it because it's a lot warmer. The sun's out, and the Pirates helped King a lot by swinging at a lot of first pitches early in the game. So King is the player of the game, and I told you what the other pitchers did for the Padres, but the Pirates, an inning for Lawrence, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. You're Quiddy. He didn't quitty, but he got litty. He got lit up. Man, I'm on fire today. 2 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks. This is where my kids would call me cringe, right? Boomer with the hair and cringe with the sense of humor that I think is funny. Good to give Manny a full day off in the middle of a 10-game stretch. Need a big series from him versus the Rocks. Cam wordplay, good job. I was getting to Manny Machado in a moment. And he had a busy night at the hot corner last night with the Pirates, running them all over the field. You know what I mean? And the shifts and everything. And all 3 balls in that inning when they scored those runs last night, when it was 2-1, it ended up being a blowout late, but when it was 2-1, and it ended up being a blowout because the Padres bullpen was used differently than it would have been if they, it's still a 2-1 game. But when I look at it last night versus tonight, and I look at this Padres team, the difference a day makes, the approach of this lineup day in and day out, even without a guy like Manny on the field. Even Fernando had an RBI single late. His offensive struggles. Oy. You know what I mean? So nobody's killing it for the Padres right now offensively. And you know what I mean? They're getting it done from a team standpoint. The bullpen's been great. The starters have been really good. I love what I've seen from this rotation so far. No Musgrove, no Darvish. They're undermanned. I could go through everybody, and you'd know that probably 3 of these guys might not be in the rotation for the entire season. You know what I mean? It's not a stretch to say that will probably and maybe likely be the case. I don't know if Vasquez has a spot later on down the line, but if you're bringing back Musgrove, Darvish, I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about that with Javi. But when I think about this game today and I look at what the Padres are able to do with that bullpen, I think he left King a little bit too long. But again, they took Pivetta out early, and you're going to play 4 games against the Rockies now. So 10 games in a row. And the Rockies stink, and they've stunk forever. And the Pirates are a little better than the Rockies right now, I would say for sure. But, the Padres still 5 for 17 with runners in scoring position. I mean, you have a 10-hit game. You draw a bunch of walks. You scored 8 runs, can't complain, right? But they had a lot of opportunities early that they missed out on and squandered. And, I'm not going to go inning by inning and tell you every single one of them. But before we hit the break, I'm going to tell you one thing. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to hit the break first. And then I'm going to come back with the rest of the benchmarks. We have the player of the game, the X factor, who fudged up 3 errors for the Pirates. We have a hint there for you, and much, much more. 8-2 the final. We'll get you ready for the Rocks. And then later, I'm coming on with Javi Reyes, Locked On Padres, on all these same platforms, by the way. Live on YouTube right after the game. Then we upload, you download. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, OTT, yeah, you know me, Roku, over-the-top television, as well as Tegna affiliates around the U.S. of A. I am Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. This is your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 podcast network in El Mundo, celebrating baseball being back by giving you a full month of the Everydayer Club for free. You know what I'm saying? It's a really good thing for you. Unlock every episode ad-free and get access to our private listener group chat with Javi. Tap the link in the show notes and use code FINALLY, FINALLY, to claim. And by the way, real quick, that URL for you, I'm going to give it to you. X is going to give it to you. First, we're going to rock. All right, here's the URL, lockedonpadres.supercast.com. And again, it's $5 a month after the free month. And it's just an unbelievable package, I would say it's an honor to work on this network with so many loyal viewers and listeners. The Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Padres 8, Pirates 2. They win the series 2-1. All the good stuff coming your way on the other side. But first, a word from, what time is it? What time is it? Okay, ahora. It is, thank you, StreamYard. It is game time. The MLB season is back in full effect, and you can feel it. Fresh starts, big expectations, and that first crack of the bat. Whether it's a breakout rookie or division race that goes down to the wire, there's nothing like being in the ballpark for it. The only problem? Getting tickets can feel like a grind, right? Long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout, and that's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives you, the fans, the advantage with constant innovation. Technology. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part, even better than that. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay. Period. The seat views feature is huge. I love it. You see the view from the seat before you see it. You know what I'm saying? You buy it. I'm Yogi on that one. But Zone Deals let me pick the section. Save even more while Game Time picks the seat for me. And you can follow your favorite team. Get alerts when the new deals drop. Padres coming back to Petco. Every game sells out. You better get your tickets. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees. Just great seats. Un momento, por favor. That's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to hit a game. So, what are you going to do? What you going to do, brother? You're going to watch the new Hulk Hogan documentary, and then you're going to take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account, redeem the code LOCKEDON, Locked On, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your Padres every single day. All right, Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, at Jim Grease _. Don't forget Locked On Padres on social media. Don't forget Javier Reyes. Check everything out in the description. Watch him day in and day out, year round. Does a great job. Locked On Padres podcast. By the way, wherever you're watching me, wherever you're listening to me, that is where you find him as well. And one more thing about Javi, my guy, we are going to be doing a little joint episode of his show, Locked On Padres podcast, a little bit later on today, a couple hours after this one finishes. The State of the Union is looking better for your San Diego Padres, and I better get right to some of these benchmarks. But again, we just need to reset the table. 8-2 the final. They beat the Pirates for the 13th time in 15 games, win their second consecutive series. Padres looking good, right? And Keller and King, we left the first segment talking about these guys, 6 innings. You know what I mean? Just a really nice job by these 2 starters today. And, King couldn't get an out in the 7th. And they had the lead for him, and you're thinking, okay, maybe they should leave him and give him a shot. But I was talking to Javi earlier, and he was right, man. They should have pulled King a little bit earlier. And it's hard because the bullpen's taxed no matter what in baseball these days, with starters going 5 innings, 6 innings max, it seems. So I don't know. We'll talk about that with Javi. But all I know is King was great. He's the player of the game today, but he did leave the game in a scoreless tie, which leads me to
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
The turning point. How about that? The 7th inning, the Padres put a 4 spot on the board, and they needed it because the Pirates scored 2, and the Padres had to get out of jam in the bottom half of the 7th inning as well. But you leave the game after 6, and Michael King, they tried to run him out for the 7th. Keller, same thing. Keller gives up no earned runs. He's been great. 1-0 with a 1.5 coming in. 6 scoreless was phenomenal tonight. Had him off balance throughout the game. They just could not get anything done against him. And, they had a couple chances early, as this team always does. They find ways on base. They find ways to get under your skin and harass you as a starting pitcher, and I love that. But in the 7th, they did a lot more than that, and we're going to get to some of the things that Ramon Laureano did in a minute, too, in this game. But in the top of the 7th, Lawrence pitching for the Pirates. Jay Lawrence, nothing my love can't fix. No, let me stop. Anyway, Xander Bogaerts reaches it first on an error by the shortstop Gonzalez, right? So Xander literally starts the inning and reaches on an error. Hey, you get on base, and that changed the whole inning. 3 errors on the day for the Pirates. I smell a fudge up coming. Anyway, Andujar doubles to left. Bogaerts goes to third. Andujar, by the way, played third base for Manny tonight and did a good job. So Bogey goes to third on the double. Second and third, nobody out. And what do you do with first base open? Nick Castellanos, who's been really good these past few games. Took him a while to get on the field and get something going, but doubles to left, scoring Andujar and Bogaerts. And Castellanos has been really good these last few games. So he ain't going to be the player of the game. He ain't going to be the X factor. You're not going to win any of the awards today, but just want to mention how good he's been coming over. And you didn't have the best spring, and he didn't look good early, so we'll see. Anyway, Campusano comes up, grounds to short, and then Jake Cronenworth homers. Yeah, almost dead center field. Almost. And Castellanos scores his 4-zip. Padres, Jake the Rake. You know what I mean? You guys know I don't love Jake as a player, but dude, I love the guy as a human. I love the effort he puts forth. I just don't think he's a very good player. And, you had Luis Ariz and you had Ryan O'Hearn, and yeah, you don't have unlimited money. I get it. But Laureano and Tatis strike out swinging right there. Boom. 4-zip. Enter Michael King. They keep him in the game, right? But he gives up a leadoff single to York with an E. Not like York in New York, but York with an E. And then Gonzalez doubles to left. York goes to third. Little makeup for that error in the top, right? And here comes a pinch hitter, Connor Griffin, who had 2 hits last night after an 0-for-13 skid. And by the way, he just signed a 9-year deal, probably similar to the Jackson Merrill deal that the Padres did last year for the Pirates. But 9 years, he's got a 9-year big league contract at 19 years old. Man, I wish I was that kid's dad. Anyway, Kyle Hart comes in for the Padres. Griffin hits a sacrifice fly to left, scoring York. Bart singles to center. Gonzalez scores. Mangum walks. Bart goes to second. Cruz hits into a fielder's choice. Mangum out at second. Bart to third. First and third, 2 away. Oh, and Kyle Hart, with the confidence of his manager, gets Lau, not Low, L-O-W-E, Lau, like Mike Lowry in Bad Boys. Yeah, Lau flies out to left. And that was huge because you leave those 2 runs on. In that situation, I was looking at it and I'm going, wow, he's got guts to stick with Hart here. But, Estrada hasn't been good. Peralta's been okay. Marijon's been terrible. You don't have Adam. You know what I mean? Suarez long gone. So, hey, you roll with what you got. And I love the way Stammen stuck with Kyle Hart. And this is the theme with Stammen tonight in this game. And I got to hurry. But anyway, top of the 8th, the Padres, they go quietly, right? Bottom of the 8th for the Pirates, same deal. Jeremiah Estrada comes in the game, fly out, line out, single, fly out. By the way, Ryan O'Hearn, glad to see him go. Not see leave San Diego in free agency, but glad to see him not standing in the batter's box against the Padres anymore. So Gonzalez flies out to right. 4-2 still the score. Padres come up in the top of the 9th, and this is where it got really, really crazy for the Pirates, which leads me to...
Uh-oh, somebody messed up, and it's time to let them know with Who Fudged Up.
I'm just playing that at the beginning of this inning because we got the fudge up in the middle of the turning point. Castellanos reaches on a fielding error by the shortstop Griffin. 2 errors from that position today. Bryce Johnson runs for Castellanos. He steals second promptly. Campusano comes up, doubles to left, scores Bryce easily. Cronenworth strikes out swinging. Laureano singles to left. Campusano goes to third. Fernando comes up, single, ground ball through the hole to left field. The way he's been hitting, we'll take it. He was 0-for-4 before that hit, scoring Campy, and then Laureano goes to second. Here's where it got really messy for the Pirates in the fudge up. Their home whites were looking a little brown in the back, if you know what I'm saying. So Jackson Merrill grounds into a fielder's choice, first base, right? Laureano scored on the error, right, by the first baseman York. So not only do they have commit 2 errors before that, and then this one just really opens the floodgates. So the throw by York, Fernando goes to second. He's safe there, safe at third on the error. And, man, very interesting because he stepped on first and then threw it away. Sheets strikes out swinging. It's what he's done this year so far. Hasn't been hitting, but when he gets hot, he'll hit him in bunches. And then Fernando steals home. Not the way you might think. He impacts the game in so many ways, defensively, speed, taking the extra bag. But Jackson Merrill takes off for second. Aggressiveness on the base pass from the Pods. They try to throw him out. Fernando runs home. Basic baseball play from Little League. Don't know what the Pirates were doing there. 8-2 the score. Here comes Mason Miller. And it could have been, 2 and 1/1 millionth. You know what I mean? It could have been 2 and 1/1 millionth to 2 is what I'm saying. With Mason Miller out there, with that stuff that he has, the slider is unbelievable at 89. It comes right at you, middle of the plate, and it looks like the best pitch you've ever seen. You just want to kill this thing, and it just dives down and away from righties and down and in under the hands of the lefties, and his fastball over 100, and it's his second best pitch. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable from Mason Miller. All right, what else do we have here? A couple more things to do before we hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road. All right, so we already did the player of the game. Now it is time for the...
It's time to reveal who made the biggest under-the-radar impact with today's X Factor.
X marks the spot, or if you're an exhibit fan, X spots the mark. You know what I'm saying? And today, that spot was occupied by Ramon Laureano, man. What a job by Ramon today in left field. 2 huge plays. Huge plays by Ramon Laureano in left field, and I want to make sure I give you those in a second. But first, I want to remind you that he was 2 for 5 at the plate, had 2 diving catches. And I'm going to actually look at my phone for a second and look this up because I have it in my notes and I can't find it, and I'm not going to not say it to you because it was unbelievable what Ramon Laureano did today in the field with 2 plays, robbing the Pirates of runs in this game. I mentioned Cronenworth's homer. I mentioned what the pitchers did, but and Laureano, by the way, had 2 hits. Where is it? It's not in the recap. Okay, I got to go back through the play-by-play. Just give me 1 second, guys, and I'll tell you. It was a big one late in the game. That's it, and I want to at least make sure that we get that one. Double to left, fly. That was in the 9th inning. Laureano, yep, here we go. 9th inning. No, it was the 8th. It was when... Oh, it was the bottom of the 7th. That's right, because it was Pittsburgh. Okay, so, yeah, Lau flies out to left, a diving grab by Laureano, and that's when, you had runners on first and third with 2 outs, and that hit would have tied the game. You know what I'm saying? So Laureano saves the game with the leather, and he had another one earlier in the game when the Pirates had a little something going too. I can't literally find it right now, but Laureano, X spots the mark. And Laureano's the X factor today. And one more thing we need to do before we get out of here, and that is...
Since hindsight is always 20/20, let's deliver today's second guess.
Hindsight is always 20/20, right? It's no doubt about that. But during the game, I found myself many times, and I'm going to just make sure that I'm guessing. I'm always second-guessing managers. I'm always saying, why is he leaving King in? Why is he coming out in the 7th? They had just given the guy the 2-0 lead. He goes out there and gets an out, whatever. He gets the win. You know what I'm saying? And they took the lead. If they had, no, he still would have gotten the win anyway. What am I saying? Yeah. So he left him in. You're building confidence in a pitcher who was your ace last year, who missed a lot of the season. Didn't want to end up back here. He's got opt-outs on the last 2 years of his 3-year, $75 million deal. Wanted a much bigger deal than that. And so King with the opt-out after this year, if he keeps pitching like this, he's going to take it. So normally I would have been all over Stammen, and I'm thinking to myself, why is he leaving him in there for the 7th inning? And then, of course, he gives up 2 hits right away, and Hart promptly allows those guys to score. But he showed faith in King. He showed faith in Kyle Hart, and he showed big faith in Estrada. And so I thought that was, I was thinking bring in Mason Miller for a 4-out save here. And he just a really great job by Stammen. Sticks with Jeremiah Estrada in that position, just sticking with him in the right spot. And, an inning pitch for Estrada, but with 2 outs there, 4-out save for Miller, you're thinking, yeah, but you're building confidence in your starters and your relievers. So no second guessing Craig Stammen today, and an incredible job by him in an 8-2 win for the Padres. Don't forget, tomorrow they have Colorado coming in, and we will be here live right after that game. And 6:40, I believe, start time tomorrow night. Is it not? Let's see real quick before we bounce on out of here. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you start at 6:40 tomorrow night. And again, the Padres at 600, but they've won 2 series in a row, have not won a home series yet. They won the last game against Detroit in the opening series and the last game against the Giants in the second, after those 2 teams had each clinched the series win. And with all the sellouts that we've had to start the year at Petco, these home fans want a series win. I have a feeling it may come against the Rockies, who are undecided with their starter tomorrow. I might look at it too and go like, nah. But Randy Vasquez pitching for the Padres. He's 1-0 with a 0.75 ERA. In 12 innings, he's allowed 8 hits and struck out 11 while walking 4. He's been the Padres' best pitcher so far this season, arguably, and it's always arguably. All right, I got to get out of here. Thank you so much for being here. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, 8-2 the final. They win 2 series in a row. I will be on with Javier Reyes, Locked On Padres, a little bit later today. A little bit later, in a couple hours, I'll be on with Javi, who does a tremendous job on all these same platforms, whether you're watching or listening, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, whatever, OTT, Roku, TV affiliate of Tegna, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. Thank you so much for being an everydayer. We love you. We love you so much. You never miss an episode. Then the Everydayer Club is for you. Get Locked On Padres ad-free, members-only Discord access, and more. And all you got to do, what you're going to do, all you got to do is go to this URL that I'm about to give you as soon as it loads, lockedonpadres.supercast.com. Again, 8-2 the final. Pods with the win. Thank you for being here day in and day out. Instant, immediate Padres reaction after every single game. I promise I'll do better next time. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Keep your game tight and your mind right. Enjoy the win, Padres fans. We'll see you at Petco over the weekend and after the games for your Padres Postcast on the #1 podcast network in the world, the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.